Hello everybody, Vigo Shadow here, and today we have a video on quick tips for Eminence in Shadow. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so for the first tip, it's using your burgers wisely. So, I know in the beginning of the game they throw a lot of burgers at you. You're going to want to keep those burgers, and then you're going to want to use them for a good campaign. So I'm going to pull up an image here. This is a 3 times drop count campaign. So what you're going to want to do is use all your burgers on pretty much every day to grind out as much gear as you can before that event is over. Otherwise, more often than not, you're going to see a 2 times drop count campaign. So that's the best time to use your burgers, and I wouldn't use them any other time on like normal on a normal campaign where you get 1 shard of gear if you shadow skip it. The next tip number 2, is how to increase your Tuna Kings. And what I mean by that is that they're free stamina that you get depending on where you're at with the main quest. So if you see right here, I have fully completed through main quest 19 and I'm on main quest 20. So since I haven't finished main quest 20, I'm only going to be able to get 19 of those Tuna Kings. Alright, so this next tip is a fairly simple tip. It's just using the Mitsugoshi exchange shop. Now, when you're in Mitsugoshi, you're going to want to get as many coins as you can, coins off of Bushin, Battle Royale, Sanctuary, wherever you can get coins there. And what you're going to want to use these coins for is to get really good characters off of the exchange. Now, I can tell you right now that Lambda, Rose, the red tank Rose is a good one to get. Sid green tank if you don't have a green tank, and then Sherry for the green healer is another one. There's just quite a few good characters that you can have. You can try to get those type of characters, whatever your team's kind of lacking or you need something better with. You can exchange to get these good characters that are in the exchange shop. Also, there are shards in the exchange shop, and I wouldn't sleep on those shards because essentially 1 shard is 10 stamina. So if you think of it like that, I mean, you're essentially saving yourself a lot of time and a lot of stamina just by trying to farm these shards up. So using the Mitsugoshi shop is very important, and you can always refresh it if you have an overabundance like me. Alright, now the 4th tip is doing your dailies. Now I know that sounds very simple and obvious, but I mean, it truly is important because not only are you getting, like, it's not a lot of gems, but it is something, but it's mainly for that XP value. And what that XP value is doing for you is that, you know, you're going to level up quick. So if you're ever asking yourself, okay, how do I level up quickly in Eminence? That is where you're going to level up quickly. Doing dailies and doing weeklies is going to level you up the fastest in Eminence, trust me. That's how you do it, is by doing the dailies and doing the weeklies. You will level up the fastest that way. And not only that, if you are over the cap, like how I am at level 92 currently when this video is shot, the XP will turn into player coins that you can then use in the Mitsugoshi exchange shop under that player section, and then you can turn like basic characters that are like, you know, your S rank and your A rank characters into Awakening 5 once you get enough coins. So doing the dailies and the weeklies are definitely worth it to get those coins to try to get some good characters like Sid or Yellow Zeta. That is going to be really good to get to A5. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your dailies and weeklies. Tip number 5 is a pretty quick one. It's about campaigns, just paying really close attention to the campaigns. Like I said, there was the ×2 drop for the equipment, which is the most important campaign that goes on. But otherwise, there's like hard chronicles to get more shards off of certain characters, so just pay attention to stuff like that. Alright, the next tip number 6, is acquiring magic crystals. So the places where you can get magic crystals are one of the biggest ones are events. So you can get a magic crystal for the hunt score in any event. Usually they throw one in there, so that's 1 crystal right there. And then they have another crystal that you can redeem within the shop. Anytime you see these types of crystals, always, always, always go for it, pick it up, buy it, whatever you gotta do. I mean, you can get these crystals fairly easy without money, depending. The next place you can get it is Armageddon, so that's why being in a guild is very important, so you can get these magic crystals. Even if you're not like a top 10 or top 50 guild, I mean, you're still getting these crystals, so just join a guild anyway. Why not, right? So along with magic crystals, the cores, you cannot combine the magic cores with the magic crystals. The magic cores are for specific characters as you see above, whereas the magic crystals are able to awaken any character. So you cannot combine cores with crystal to make a full 10. Alright, so the next one really isn't a tip. It is more or less just showing you that you can turn your magic cores into crystals if you already have a character that is A5. So here I have Iris already at A5, and she has 10 of the magic cores. Now I can convert that into a single magic crystal. This does suck because it's only one crystal, but there's not much I could really do with the cores anyway. I do have other cores that are like, I have 10 of the Halloween for these event characters, and I even have 10 for Beatrix, but I don't have these characters, and there's no way to turn their cores into crystals, even because I don't have you need a character to be A5. You can't just convert 10 cores into crystals when you feel like it. They have to be A5, and you have to go in that menu to convert them. Alright, so another quick piece of information, with Eminence, if you are a guild leader, all it takes is 2 days of inactivity, and somebody can actually swipe that guild leader status, so just something to be aware of right there. Alright, so the next tip number 7, would be obtaining locked characters. So if you're able to get these locked characters through either grinding out the hard chronicles and you're able to summon them, that'd be great, because if you pull them the next time on like on any banner or whatever, because they're part of the regular character pool, you will have an A1 instead of just earning that character for outright. So it's better to just try to unlock these characters as soon as you can. If there's a specific character you want to unlock, it'll give you some options. The one thing that you cannot do is you cannot use your Akasha crystals, or whatever they're called, to exchange for any locked characters, which means you have to pull a character first in order to use the Akasha, or whatever they're called, crystals, because what the purpose of these crystals are is for getting your units from SS to SS++, or however far you want to take it. Just keep in mind that the first 100 exchanges is 1 Akasha crystal. The second time is 100. You could do 100 again, but it's 5, which means if you do 100 shards, that'd be 500 Akasha crystals. And then lastly, it doesn't change from here. It is 10 Akasha crystals for 1 shard, which means if you want to get 100 shards, it is 1,000 Akasha crystals, which could get very, very spendy very quick. And I recommend using these shards on characters that are very well off and good, so you're gonna have to really read into it. I know any SF unit is worth taking to SS or SS++, and a couple other units that are kind of worthy. So don't just be spending these things without having prior knowledge that if it's a good unit or not. Alright, so this next piece of information is that with the shards, I know with locked characters, if you get enough shards, you can unlock them. But with specifically, if we're talking about Shadow Festival units or event units, so let's put an example here. I have, some shards for certain event characters. So, and if I had, 135 shards, these characters would still not be unlocked. So you cannot unlock event units or SF units no matter how many shards you got. You can only unlock the regular character pool with the shards. You cannot do event or SF units. So no matter how many shards you got, you cannot use those shards unless you have pulled the units. Alright, so tip number 8 is being aware of summoning and banner traps. And what I mean by banner traps is this one right here. It's the SS Zeta selection banner. And why I call it a trap is because you can get this character on virtually any banner you pull from. That's why I kind of call it a trap. So anytime you have like these selection banners, not the event ones, not the revival ones, but just these specific units that are selection, because if you look in your locked characters and you find that specific unit there, that's what I consider a banner trap. Unless you have an abundance and you like to like spend gems on the game and you just don't care and you want specifically those units, that's okay, but I would be aware, so you should only be pulling from event banners or Shadow Festival banners, unless you really want that character on that banner. Alright, now tip number 9 is making sure you get the gear for any Shadow Festival unit. If you are pulling on a Shadow Festival banner, you must go for 3 multis, because that way you can exchange to get their weapon. Because if you don't get their weapon, it's gone, unless you hit another revival banner. Now, it doesn't matter so much when it comes to event banners, because with the event banners, there is an event to play, so you can earn their weapon multiple times over. And with regular characters from the from the regular character pool, you can essentially craft their weapon through like just the regular crafting for magic gear. So you don't have to worry about that. But for Shadow Festival, you need to go for 3 multis so you can exchange to get that weapon. Otherwise, it is forever lost until a revival banner. Alright, and finally, tip number 10 is being aware of how much magic gear you actually have. So with the components to craft the magic gear, if you're close to the cap or how much you can craft, like if you're at 136 or 137 or close to that ballpark, for magic gear, like where it's currently at, I would just hoard your materials and just wait to craft more magic gear. I know you can get duplicates and then reroll the stats, and that's always good, but just being aware of that number is kind of crucial so that you can save some of those materials if you would like to. This next one is mainly geared towards beginners on like trying to achieve the SS gear and how to kind of get that in the works. So right off the bat, you know, you kind of need to get your character to SS++. So you're going to have to grind all those shards out until you can get them to SS++. And after that, they become SS++. You need to then gather an additional 100 shards in order to craft their weapon, but also you need a potential drop item to make that happen. Once you get that potential drop item and craft that weapon, you don't need to use any more potential drops, and essentially all you need is 20 shards, and you can keep re-rolling that specific SS plus magic gear, which is nice. And then for the last, I guess, extra bonus tip is link your account. Just make sure to link your account, because I have already had somebody who has lost their account due to not linking it and wanting to do like different like rerolls or different accounts on the same thing. So always make sure you link your account, otherwise you may lose your precious SF units or whatever you pulled, or however far your account is. It would be devastating. So yeah, with that, that's all. That's all the tips, tricks, and infos that I've got into one video. Thanks for watching. Vigo, signing off.